all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle chapter 116. And Chen Tian stood in place like this, his clothes and hair were all blown by the fierce wind brought by the two speedsters when they passed by. The corners of his mouth slowly outlined a satisfied smile. Just after those two passed by Chen Tian's side. In his mind, two icy prompts for the effect of the copying ability suddenly sounded one after another. Combat detected, rewarded, Godspeed Force, Barry, Allen. Combat detected, rewarded, Godspeed Force, Hunter. Zolomon, Knife. Chapter 86, The Chase of the Divine Speed. Chen Tian's speed back in time and space. Combat detected, rewarded, Godspeed Force, Barry, Allen. Combat detected, rewarded, Godspeed Force, Hunter. Zolomon. 1 gold, 1 blue, 2 flashing electric lights, and the moment when the figure that burst beyond the speed of a superhuman burst past Chen Tian's side. In his mind, there were also cold prompts for the successful effect of the replication ability. 2 divine speed forces were copied at the same time. After Chen Tian heard the 2 prompts, his eyes lit up. Originally, his goal was to harvest a God speed force, which felt that it was enough, after all, even if it was just a God speed force, when it was just obtained. It could have a speed close to the speed of light. Moreover, there is also good room for growth since then. In Chen Tian's expectation, after obtaining the divine speed power, there is also the blessing of the Krypton bloodline. Maybe he can reach the level of going back in time in a very short time. However, now harvesting 2 divine speed forces at once completely made Chen Tian overjoyed. This is related to the fact that after harvesting several superpowers earlier, these abilities can be stacked on top of each other. If nothing else, then now Chen Tian already has twice the speed of divine speed. Perhaps, now I have a speed beyond the speed of light and can travel through time and space. Chen Tian's eyes couldn't help but widen, and he began to feel the changes in his body. Since then, he found that among all the cells in his body, there were already 2 more divine speed forces. They are golden, which comes from the Flash's divine speed. There is also the blue divine speed force that belongs to the speedster. The divine speed force of 2 different colors formed a small electric arc in his nucleus, constantly flashing. Between every cell, terrifying energy bursts out. At the same time, under the action of these 2 divine speeds, those cells began to transform rapidly. Originally, Chen Tian's body, after obtaining a brand new bloodline fused by 3 bloodlines, all the cells had already 320 to metamorphosis. Whether it is vitality or the energy contained in cells, it is not comparable to ordinary humans. Even ordinary mutants are far inferior to Chen Tian. It can be said that even if Chen Tian contains a single cell, the energy contained in it can be even greater than the sum of ordinary human whole body cells. And in his body, there are hundreds of millions of cells. At the same time, these cells also have extraordinary activity. Every cell has the potential to completely divide into a body. This also means that Chen Tian before, as long as only one cell exists, then he can be reborn through this cell. Even more terrifying than the so-called blood rebirth. However, it was this kind of cell with such terrifying activity and potential, when he harvested 2 divine powers. It can also enhance its contained energy and cell activity again. This is the horror of Godspeed. In Bari, after Alan gained the divine speed, no matter how many injuries he received, it only took 1 day to completely recover. If you have a minor injury, it may only take a few seconds, or even an instant, to recover. Because his cell activity and metabolic rate, with the blessing of Godspeed, are far beyond ordinary people. And now, Chen Tian obtained 2 divine speed forces at the same time. Its already terrifying cell activity has been sublimated. Of course, the increase in cell activity brought by the divine speed force was not the biggest surprise for Chen Tian. What excites Chen Tian the most is the speed blessing brought by the divine speed force. However, just when Chen Tian felt that the strengthening brought by the divine speed force was enough, he suddenly discovered that there was a new change in his body. That was the brand new bloodline formed by the fusion of 3 bloodlines in his body, and under the action of the divine speed force. It actually began to accelerate the improvement speed of Chen Tian's body. Moreover, it has doubled the amount. It's incredible. Originally, when harvesting the divine speed power, I thought it was okay to just give me speed. Chen Tian felt his already terrifying enough strength improvement speed, and once again rose a level, and he was speechless one after another. But now, not only the 2 God speed forces that I have accidentally harvested, but I can greatly increase my speed and improve my timely combat power. Moreover, can it also increase the speed of my strength after that? He took a deep breath, his eyes flickering. This trip, it's really the right one. However, just when Chen Tian was already satisfied. But I found that after I harvested the divine speed, the changes in my body were far from stopping. Just now, the divine speed force acted on his new bloodline, making the latter run faster. And now, with the Krypton bloodline, this new bloodline that will maximize the potential has actually begun to increase its divine speed. In Chen Tian's cells, those gold and blue arcs that were constantly flashing began to fuse rapidly under the action of the bloodline. The 2 colors slowly merged into a new white god power, burst out with even more power. Yes. After Chen Tian made this discovery, he was stunned for a moment, and then the joy on his face became more and more intense. Although the divine speed force is an ability, it is also an objectively existing independent energy body like the bloodline. Therefore, the divine speed force is also the same as the bloodline, and it can receive the blessing of the bloodline. He was lamenting. The 2 divine forces in all cells also began to fuse rapidly. Inside the nucleus, the white arc is increasing. Then, Chen Tian seemed to have a feeling. Like If I can use the Godspeed force, then I can accelerate the speed of the fusion of the two Godspeed forces. He looked at the two divine speed forces that gradually fused and made such a discovery. In that case, Chen Tian muttered to himself, raised his head and looked in the direction where the Flash and the Speed one disappeared. Then come and run, speedsters. A smile curled at the corner of his mouth, and a white shining arc gradually appeared on his body. Phew. Next second, Chen Tian's figure suddenly turned into a blur, and he rushed out at a speed that was only a little limit away from the speed of light. Phew. One by one. For a while, the air in the entire central city was pulled up because he started running. The terrifying wind began to howl, and even the clouds in the sky began to drift with his movement. Before that, Chen Tian couldn't catch up with the Flash and the Speedster at all. And in the blink of an eye, he had already begun to approach the latter at a speed nearly twice the speed of the other two. The other side. Phew. The Flash Barry. Alan's body shone with a golden arc, and the whole person turned into a golden stream, bursting out his maximum speed, chasing the Speedster in front of him. He frowned, his eyes stared seriously at the rusher running in front of him, and the whole person exuded a blue arc, and the mood in his heart gradually became heavy. For the first time, this is the first time since he obtained the power of Godspeed that he has encountered someone whose speed is not inferior to himself, even Barry. Aaron also felt that the Speedster, who had been keeping his distance, had not actually burst out at full speed. Because, even if there is a small difference in the speed of the two, under such a high speed running, the distance between the two of them will also slowly change.